Here we have the skull. We're going to begin with the bones that house the brain. The first bone on your items of responsibility list is the frontal bone, and we can see it in this bright blue here where it is found. On the exam, you're going to need to be able to find it on and all bones on the natural skull. So let's come over here and look at this skull. This is the frontal bone right here. The frontal bone is the anterior top of the skull, and it is the top of the orbit. This region right here is called the orbital plate of the frontal bone. You can see it in blue. It extends about halfway into the back of this orbit at the top. So it forms part of the roof of the socket, orbital plate of the frontal bone. Let's find it on this natural skull. Here is the frontal bone. Here is the orbital plate. So one other characteristic, that characteristic is the supraorbital notch or foramen. On these skulls, you can just get a hint of it. It's right here. It's like a foramen right there, and it's a little notch right there. These are both natural skulls. This is painted. This is not. Here you can see the supraorbital notch. It's not a complete foramen. And over on this side it was until we broke it with a probe or a pipe cleaner right there. So that is the supraorbital foramen. Next on the list are the parietal bones. The parietal bones on this painted skull are these light blue ones. There's a right and a left parietal bone. Let's find them on the natural skull. Right and left parietal bone. Associated with those bones are some sutures. So let's find the sutures on the painted skull first. Here we have, between the frontal bone and the two parietal bones, we have a coronal suture right there. There's the coronal suture, which is the joint between the bones. Between the two parietal bones, if you look closely, you see a wiggly line. That is the sagittal suture. So coronal suture, sagittal suture. Okay, on this skull we can have a little better view of those sutures. Here is the frontal bone, and here are the two parietal bones. This is the coronal suture between the frontal and the two parietal bones. Here is the sagittal suture between the two parietal bones.